I'm under a lot of pressure to draw all the time. I mean, it's my job, dude. At the point of burnout, I was grappling with YouTube, a mail club, an Instagram account, contemplating returning to the arms of my most evil ex. I was overwhelmed and constantly thinking about what my art should be, comparing myself to others, fixating on numbers that literally mean nothing. And in the chaos, I totally forgot why I love drawing in the first place. But what's more important is doing the new trend and maybe trying that content strategy or wishing the algorithm just treated you better. Maybe I should make these designs more appealing to people. Maybe I need to change everything about my art to be marketable and palatable and cute. And then suddenly, I had no time to draw. I had to wake up at 7 a.m. every morning, cycle as fast as I could because I was probably late, and then try not to fall asleep in class. In the afternoons, I'd study for a few hours. In the evenings, I did a lot of sightseeing with my friends. Even if I wasn't burnt out to the 3rd degree, I couldn't draw. I didn't have any time to, and it actually felt good. So this is my first tip. Rest from drawing. Just do other things in your life that you enjoy. To some people, this actually means curling up in their bed and just playing Zelda all day. And to others, it's becoming a full octane traveler racing around China. However you can step away from it, the point is to stop drawing and then tell yourself, it's okay. I don't have to. Even if I don't draw today, tomorrow the sun will come up and I'll keep living. Eventually, after a week, I started drawing in my margins again. No one was telling me what to create. I just drew whatever I felt wanted to come out of my brain. But I drew all this without guilt, and it was really peaceful. When you just draw for yourself out of boredom, out of something intrinsic, you can do a little bit of contemplation. So next, I want you to notice your motivations. Why do you draw? For me, I want to show people who I am. When I'm drawing myself or my characters, I'm revealing to the viewer a part of me. But there's more than one way people want to express themselves, of course. Once you eliminate the noise of external pressure, you can look within to your true motivation at this point in your creative journey. So I drew more and more, and it was when I was bored or distracted. Sometimes my brain would be a little drained and I didn't want to draw objects, so I thought, what if I try and draw like a representation of the object through a glyph or something? And so I started drawing these wriggly things. When people would ask me what they were, I'd just respond, I don't know. So next, draw something original. Drawing something straight from your own brain meats is easier said than done, but when you're barely drawing and in a place where you're a bit disconnected from the noise telling you what to do next, you can just listen to the blips and blops of your own mind and just draw straight from there. No references, no expectation of sharing it. This drawing is yours, even if it's a bit munted. While I was over in Beijing, I met my soulmate. She's a little green Sony Cybershot and became the lens through which I view and appreciate the world. I was enamored by how different everything was in this new place, and now I had a pure means to capture it all. I honestly ran around with this thing like a cat with a GoPro taped to its collar. I took photos of everything, noticed more, focused in on the details, and I've continued this habit back home too. As an artist, it's straight up magic to become totally inspired by the world around you. Look, you don't have to be going to the most scenic locations your surrounds has to offer. In fact, the more valuable moments of inspiration are connected to the everyday life that you live, the pedestrian. When I moved into my new place, my cool roomie and I came up with an idea to get a bookshelf for the common area, and we stacked it full of art books. My personal favorite is this Haikara Walker magazine. I like to flick through it and Google Translate every page. I don't know Japanese. Sometimes I even have it open next to me when I'm drawing, because reconnecting with physical media is gonna heal ya. Once the real world runs out of beauty and riches, it's time to get into other forms of inspiration. And while Pinterest is honestly great, in a time where I'm recovering from being overwhelmed by art, opening it up kind of feels like being waterboarded. Collecting art books, encyclopedias, guidebooks, pieces of packaging, art prints is not only building a bank of resources for you to draw from in your art, but it also serves to remind yourself of what you're interested in and reveal who you are creatively. So I was full of beans again, inspired by all this cool stuff around me, and it was time to draw. But I was back in this place where I'd slaved away on old projects. It reminded me of a time where I was drained. I needed to change my environment. I have the privilege to be living in a city where I can get around to all different places and draw. Cafes, parks, libraries are all great places to pull out my sketchbook and start scribbling away. I also got a smaller sketchbook so I could draw on the train and bus. And I admit, I like the cred of being the cool person drawing in public, but I couldn't run from my desk forever. which is why it's important to create a workspace that you like being at. HUION sent me their Kamvas 16 Gen 3 and it kind of inspired me to change up my workspace and how I create art. Because it doesn't require that many cables, it is easy to set up and reasonably light. I brought it to uni for my first trimester studying animation. This really helped me start drawing regularly again because even though I did make my workspace a nice place that I wanted to be at, it's right next to my bed. Maybe it's the feng shui of my room, but I always used to just opt for going to sleep. The Kamvas 16 Gen 3 allowed me to go and draw at uni and at libraries, and the stand also meant that I wasn't snapping my neck over my tablet anymore. I can drag around my canvas, undo, and use the eyedropper tool just as I used to, which I appreciate. And giving up the touchscreen also means that there's no chance of getting those weird artifacts from when your palm touches the screen. They used to drive me up the wall. The 2 spinning dials on the side of the tablet were really helpful for doing my animation assignments. They have this really nice tactile clicky feel, and I programmed the bottom one to allow me to flick through my frames as if flicking through cell sheets. The pen felt much nicer than what I previously used. Using this tablet was the first time I understood why people don't like uncoated glass screens that much. There was a feedback feeling, but not so much resistance that I couldn't get those smooth lines. Thanks to the canvas glass, I felt that the parallax, so like the gap between what's on the screen and what you're touching with the pen, is pretty much non-existent. The pen also has PenTech 4.0, which means it has really great pressure sensitivity capabilities, tilt, and like I said before, the programmable keys that make the drawing process a lot smoother. The color precision means that the colors are vivid enough to look great, but not too much to be inaccurate. The resolution of the screen is also very high, and I don't find that glare is an issue even when I'm drawing next to a bright window. A lot of the specs on this tablet are focused towards a professional user, but as a student and someone who is more a freelancer, it still really fits my needs. So thank you so much to HUION for sending me this tablet. If you would like to learn more about the Kamvas 16 Gen 3, please check the link in the description or the pinned comment. Alongside shameless plugs for free stuff, another necessary evil of returning to my job as an artist was going back onto Instagram. God, I hate this app so much, but sometimes when I go back, I be seeing the most majestical artworks that have ever graced my eyes, and I leave a nice comment, and they say, "Thank you so much, Sepni," and I'm like, "Oh, that's not my name, but I love you." And then I keep scrolling, and wow, there's so much better than me. If I changed to be more like them, maybe I would be content. Maybe it had nothing to do with all this healing, listening to your heart. I just need to make stuff like this person right here who is clearly having a win right now, and then I'll finally know the purpose of my life. I needed strategies to manage my envy. Look, no one's perfect. If you've ever harbored envy towards another artist, I've been right there with you. It's easy to fall into, especially if you're at a point where you aren't so happy with your own process. But you cannot let it rot your soul. Taking care of yourself creatively is also managing jealousy. It's an ugly word, but I know that we're all struggling with this. And for me, what managing my envy and comparison looks like is leaving more comments. Simple as that. Instead of just sitting there brewing over how cool this person is and how you aren't in on it, get in on it. Tell them how you feel. Even if they don't gush back or like your comment or anything, you are now part of the celebration too. And if someone just really makes you feel miserable and every post just makes you feel like trash, block, unfollow, mute, trust me, they won't know. No one I've ever done it to has noticed. Last thing you want to end up doing is tearing them down to make yourself feel better. So just disengage and protect your peace. This section is about to get negative because I'm done holding people's hand through this necessary truth. Today you're getting the tough love from me. Social media is designed to make you feel like shit. Ever wonder why rage bait is a thing? Why art drama is popping off? Bad news sells better than good. We all know this. Especially me. I used to do nothing but fight with people online. So I knew better than anyone that after I'd done all this wholesome stuff to rebuild myself, social media was going to be the thing to tear it back down. I tried to come back to shield myself from the psychic attacks that Instagram was doing on me every day, but it wasn't enough. My tolerance for internet bullshit was so low at this point, like I was so unexposed to the fart smelling air in this musty room that when I went back I was like, ooh, something smells a little weird. So I deleted all the social media things off my phone, and dude, the grass is greener, the sunshine is brighter. I know it's so hard to tear yourself away from the reflex of just opening Instagram when you're standing around in public doing nothing. But sometimes it's better to just be in your own thoughts. or to make eye contact with strangers. But other than that, I have a few more strategies for you to reconnect with the world and your creativity. So thanks for letting me be a dark cloud for a sec in this otherwise optimistic video. Needless to say, I felt a tiny bit overwhelmed coming back to the online art community. I still don't have social media on my phone, but I do want to stay connected to artists. I'm a daytime extrovert, so I just started messaging people I knew on my pewter and inviting them to hang out. So I'm saying connect with other artists in your area. They're blessings. Artist hangouts are so special. Whenever I talk with other artists, we go on about our projects and ideas. The OC yaps are always legendary, and we often got a lot to relate on. I admit, I got this super easy. My roommate is an artist too, so I always have someone around. A lot of people also like to do voice calls on Discord and stuff, especially if you don't like drawing outside, you're underage, or live in an area with less art friends being local. Connecting on a more personal level with other artists just makes me feel so human, so full of inspiration, and a lot less lonely in this solo profession. It's really nice. By this point, I was healing up, my mojo was back, I was ready to draw, I'd started a new project, I was making videos again, even if they kind of sucked, and I just had a pretty good attitude about everything. And now, it was time to use my powers for good, and give back to the community around me. So I started doing a few art trades. Art trades are not only a great deal for some free art, but a great way to connect. To be walking the same path as someone and give them a handshake and a hug and be like, I see you. If you don't have any art friends to trade with, you can also just draw gifts for people you think are cool. I know that every single time someone draws Jordan and Lane, I'd be like, nice, in the comment. But on the inside, I feel like doing jumping jacks and cartwheels. The gift of creativity, to want to make art in any form, is so special. Sometimes when you're surrounded by artists, bombarded by the magic of it all, it just starts to feel like the standard. What is just a regular day? But your creativity is unique and it's yours forever and ever until you die or break all your fingers. So through these 10 steps, I was able to snatch my creative spark back from the claws of capitalism, kinda. I still need money to save for Japan 2060, let's go! And I hope after watching this video, you can do the same too, or at least think about doing the same thing. You know, baby steps. Because art shouldn't be something that tires you out. It's intertwined with your soul ribbons. It's a part of who you are. Okay, bye!